Hey OMies, I'm Ewashkiw from Adventure Yoga. Thanks for joining me today for this yoga pose breakdown of Upavista Konasana, sometimes just called Straddle Pose or wide-legged seated forward fold pose. To do this wide-legged seated pose that has a forward fold in it, oh, that's where the name comes from, we're gonna sit on a blanket while we do this. So it can be a yoga blanket if you've got one, but it could also be a cushion or a folded up blanket. I'll mention that again in a few seconds, but now, forewarned, you can go get one before class starts. Cool. Anyway, we'll start this in just a few seconds. We're gonna start with blanket, seat on our mat. See you there. So as I mentioned in the opening, we're going to use a prop today. We're going to use a yoga blanket. Now, if you don't have a yoga blanket, that's totally normal. You can use a cushion, meditation cushion, should you have one of those, folded up blanket of any kind. It doesn't have to be specifically for yoga. And take that and sit on it at the back edge of the long edge of your mat. So I'm going to place the blanket there, pop my hips up on it. To start, we're going to come into Dandasana, so stretch your legs out in front of you, straight. Place your hands on the ground, or in my case, on the blanket beside your hips, and sit up tall. Now, if you're wanting the breakdown of Dandasana, this is not it, but in the link to the description for this class, I'll link you over to a Dandasana pose breakdown so that you can work on that. Tip your pelvis forward, move the front of your ribs back, sit up tall. Take your hands, grab your left leg, and move your left leg. So bend your knee, move your left leg over to the left. Now you have to estimate roughly how wide you can get your legs here. So I know that that's a pretty good marker for me. Then you can pick up the right leg and open it out to the right so that your legs are opening up the same amount. So you just need to adjust as you do so that you can do that. Take your feet a little wider or make your stance a little less wide. Remember to have your hips on the prop, on the blanket, legs stretched out straight. Take your fingertips onto the ground behind you and point your fingers back so that you can push back and tip your pelvis forward so that you're getting closer to the edge of the blanket that you're sitting on. That'll help you get your pelvis into a neutral position so you can stretch up through your spine. So tip your pelvis forward, move the front of your ribs back, lengthen through your spine. And now take your hands in front of you and place them on the ground with your fingers pointing forward. Now pull back slightly and lift up through your chest. Think about your legs. Turn your knees so that your knees are facing straight up. Do a little Barbie foot. That means push the ball of your foot forward, but pull your toes back and spread your toes. So really, really good place to be, and call it Upavista Konasana. So this is maybe not stage one, but it's probably a really good final stage for a lot of us because the next stage is to fold forward. What? Yeah, the next stage is to fold forward. So see what you can do here. If you can come down to your forearms, come down to your forearms. But then think about your back. My back is now rounding like crazy, like I've got a snail shell on my back. And when we come into Upavista Konasana, we want to have a long spine. So from here, we got to work for that long spine. Lift your breastbone forward and up and lengthen through your spine. Pull back a little with your forearms so you can tip your pelvis forward. Lengthen through your spine. Take your left hand and reach for your left big toe. If you can grab your left big toe and keep your left leg straight here, do. If you can't, come back to hand or forearm to the ground. And then if you've got your left foot, reach for your right foot with your right hand. Grab your right big toe, wrap your fingers around it, and if you can hold both toes and have your legs straight, then lift your chest and lengthen your spine. Move your pelvis forward a little, so tip it forward. Move the front of your ribs back
lengthen through your spine. And if you've got your toes here, legs straight, and your spine is straight, you can fold forward and bring your chest down to or towards the ground. My back is rounding, so I'm going to work for longer spine here rather than coming into the forward fold. Now, great, stay there, wherever you are. If your hands are on the ground, you can walk your hands forward more, straighten your arms more. Pull back with your hands, pull your chest forward, and slowly, over time, you will work to have the flexibility in your inner thighs, in your hamstrings, in your hips, have the strength in your spine that over time maybe you can start to walk your hands forward, tip forward, and get closer and closer to the ground with a straighter spine. To come out, walk your hands back and sit up. Grab the inner edges of your legs to bring your knees up, hold up, bring your knees together, and give yourself a little hug. Thanks. I love pancakes, but I do not pancake in my straddle pose. If you do, cool. That flexibility at your hips and that strength and length in your spine must just be so helpful when we're doing a lot of the work we do in yoga and a lot of things we need to do in life. But some of us do not have that innate ability, and this is a pose that takes a ton of work. So I like to do it upright and take my time and really just dream that one day I will be able to fold forward and come down to the ground. But depending on our hips, depending on your life, like that may just not be realistic for your body or for just what your goals are in life. So do what's appropriate for you. That's what I'm saying. If you're looking to get some more flexibility in your hamstrings to help with this, well, here's a class that's going to help with that. Just click on that and add it to your watch later list, or do it now. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please take a second, click my picture right over there, click the little bell icon so that you can subscribe and get notifications, and I will see you on the mat really soon. Thanks, homies.